in Iran territory. We're speaking a lot about Iran this week, about famous rabbis of yesteryear. I want to speak about Rabbi Yaghub Nagari, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, a famous Persian rabbi of his time, a rabbi we've spoken here on various occasions before inside this series, and I think was born back in the year 1910, it happened to be. Actually, there's a Persian website out there that gives over and illustrates excellent details with regards to famous Persian Chachamim, which I recommend everyone to actually read and to learn and educate more within regards to him. So who was he, Rabbi Yaghub? So I believe he was, let's just say, he was born in the year 5670 on the Hebrew calendar. I think that was 1910 in the Gregorian calendar, in Hamadan in Iran, to a devout and religious family. He was a son of someone else, of someone called Haji Rabbi Nagari, who was a famous philanthropist and an active member of the Hebrew Society in Hamadan. And the Nagari family itself traced their lineage to a member of the Great Sanhedrin in Baghdad, it's reported over, highlighting, let's say, great roots with regards to Jewish tradition. I think Haji Rafia was involved in the herb trade business, I think in Hamadan, where we've spoken about before. He was also a philanthropist and an active member of the Hamadan Jewish Community Association. I think we did mention him before here on various different occasions here inside this series. So Yaghub we're going to learn more about him over here in today's special edition. It's actually the 7dorim.com website, which actually illustrates all these different, and there's a lot of information you can actually find on him on the internet. Also, that's something very much we have to point out also within regards to him. So, as we said before, okay, so he had a phenomenal memory, and I think he was only 4 years of age. Rabbi Yaghub would begin learning the Tefillah Sidur, the prayer liturgy, the Torah, and other great textual information with another famous rabbi, with Rav Moshe Amar, who had come from Israel, let's say, for work in Hamadan at that point in time. Even while he was very, very young, Rabbi Yaghub would demonstrate great intelligence and with a great memory in of himself. He would memorize Torah for an entire year, including those for the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, for Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, and other holidays, and Tefillin. And he would learn that from another great rabbis of Mola Aaron and also someone called Mola Yehuda. I think his father rewarded his dedication by gifting him a great, beautiful Megillat Esther Torah scrolls, which Rabbi Yaghub also quickly memorized quite quickly. It shows the sharpness and the genius at such a young age to do that. In a short period of time, Mola Nagari had memorized the Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim, the Tanakh, naturally, and later also accurately memorized many parts of the Talmud and the Mishnah also respectively over there, which is absolutely phenomenal over here. Anyone tuning in live, we are exploring a bit of the history with regards to a famous Persian rabbi of his time, Rabbi Yaghub Nagari, great rabbi that we've spoken about beforehand. And we're actually at a time period at the moment where we are recording videos within regards to famous Persian Jewish history. We've recorded so far it's going to be a multiple part series on famous Persian rabbis. Yesterday we already did 4 parts within regards to that, and very, very exciting. Hopefully we can do a 5th and 6th part within regards to that in due course. But we happen to be speaking a famous Persian rabbi in his time. He was born in the year 1910, and his name being Rabbi Yaghub Nagari, a rabbi that I believe we have mentioned before here on this series. So it's very, very exciting, very privileged also to talk about the great Persian Chacham, and obviously it's very close to my heart because obviously I am also of Persian descent also, and living in Israel, and like many of these rabbis, they were, just the greatness we can actually learn about them. That's something very much we have to point out over here, friends. Okay, so let's continue. So he would attend, I believe, as a school, the Alliance School. This would actually help him, let's just say, with regards to literature in Persian, Hebrew, Arabic, and French. He would teach himself Aramaic at a later stage in time and English. While he would study at Pahlavi school, he would memorize numerous verses from, let's say, great, famous Iranian poets such as Sa'idi, Fidausi, Sanai, Mullavi, Baba Tahir, Nizami, Ganjavi, as well as famous French poets like Lamartine, Victor Hugo, and so on and so forth. He also memorized Hebrew, Sephardic poetry from the famous Rabbi Yehuda Levi, Rabbi Ibn Gabriel, and others by just hearing or reading them once, it would take over. By the time period he would go to the high school, secondary school, he had memorized over 18,000 Iranian verses, which gave him, like, let's say, a recognition, an accolade as a talented, let's say, competitor when it came in the poetry field, and would even surpass his teachers in of itself quite comfortably. Interfaith knowledge, he was intellectually vibrant. He was very hardworking from his youth and had great sharp mind. Among his educated peers and, let's say, prominent figures of society, it was Rabbi Yaghub who consistently led in cultural, religious endeavors, social endeavors at that point in time. He knew, apparently even he would know the Quran by heart and was very well versed in the Baha'i the Christian Bible, and the Shia Nahji Balagha, and frequently participated, let's say, in interfaith debates. Remember, he wasn't learning all these things to learn it for the sake of it. We don't recommend anyone to learn other faith things in general, but it was to, let's say, have debates with other people to prove them wrong. He would countered in a skillful manner arguments about converting Jews to Christianity, to Muslim and Baha'ism, using solid reasoning and sincere faith. Remember, so there was problems and issues at that point in time where they tried to convert a lot of Jews. Probably he would have wanted to be well versed in how he can argue and counter against it. Within regards to that, additionally, among, let's say, thinkers and scholars, he had extensive knowledge of world history, geography, and philosophy, and so on and so forth. Now, military service. I think it was in the year 1927, Rabbi Yaghub Nagari became the first Jewish soldier from Hamadan to join the Reza Shah's army, serving in artillery and horsemanship. He completed officer training with a specific distinction and was later appointed as an instructor at the military academy. He was recognized for his great skills in cartography, in mathematics, and geometry, and was entrusted, let's say, in designing and mapping various different military barracks in southern Tehran, including in Heshmatia and in Eshratabad. He also managed, I think, logistics at the Heshmatia barracks. That's something that we very much have to point out over here. So very, very interesting. Now, he would get married, I think, if I'm not mistaken, to someone named Rabbanit Sarah Khatun. She was from the Natan Eli family. Before completing, let's say, officer training, they would go on to have 5 sons, I believe, and 3 daughters, it was reported over. And after his military service, let's say, Rabbi Yaghub at that point in time, I think he would progress more. He would begin a new chapter as commissioner in a Tehran market, where he would meet various different famous rabbis, Rabbi Chaim Moreh, Rabbi Davud Shadi, Rabbi Mola Yosef Orshaga, Harav Ishar Meir Levi, who happened to be the head of Otzar Torah in Iran, we have to point that out, and famous Rabbi Yedidia Shofet. These were invaluable connections which would very much deeper his understanding when it came to Yahadut, Judaism, and faith, Emunah, and will bring out huge value, let's just say in itself. And I think for a long period, Rabbi Yeshua Natan Eli and Rabbi Oriel Davidi were his partners in Gemara. Very, very interesting. We can learn about in a minute, let's just say, about his prayership, leadership skills. We're just going to take a short 1-minute break over here, friends. And so just wait in the meantime, and please don't forget to subscribe in the meantime, as we're going to continue this video in a moment, friends. Hi, shalom everyone. Thanks for being patient over here as we're learning about the Persian Jewish community history, and we're exploring a few highlights with regards to a famous rabbi of his time over here. So we actually happen to be speaking over here about Rabbi Yaghub Nagari, who was a famous rabbi of his time. So, and let's talk about how he was a prayer leader during his early years. When he was in Tehran, Rabbi Yaghub would serve as the prayer leader, Shliach Tzibur, at the Hassan Abad Synagogue in Tehran. And let's just say he had a great voice, captivating, let's say, delivery in reciting, let's say, the Torah and daily prayers. Also, he would draw, like, say, the Kihila over that point in time. Attention, move their hearts within regards to heaven in of itself. He had this knack and this brilliance, let's just say, in of its own right, to daven in the most beautiful, let's just say, fashions in of itself. He would have an ability to recite the daily prayers, Haftarot, for example, their interpretations, various different poems, let's just say, in of itself, just a piercing greatness within regards to it, and especially using his memory in of its own right. So he had this specific knack to do all these great things in of itself. So that's something that we very much have to point out over here, and would really, really inspire, let's just say, the throngs inside the Beit Knesset. That's something very much we have to point out over here, friends. And let's say, what else will he do? He'll do huge amounts. He'll establish synagogues and schools in an area called Tarasht. He would later move to the Tarasht intersection neighborhood in southern western Tehran, where as soon, let's say, immediately, he established a synagogue and became like the Menahel over there, the manager, and the Shliach Tzibur. He would actually receive support from Otzar Torah, where he was very much an active member over there. He would build a 3-story elementary school for children in that specific area. Now, we're going to talk about this synagogue that he will actually build at a later point in time. That's something that very much I have to point in. Anyone tuning in live, we're exploring a few of the highlights of famous Rabbi Yaghub Nagari, his life over here. And if you're tuning in live for the first time, welcome, friends, to our community over here, as we love, let's say, exploring many Sephardi Rabbanim over here on this channel, and very much we happen to be speaking about a famous Persian rabbi of his time, of yesteryear. That's one thing for sure that we have to point out. Okay, so let's speak a few more words within regards to him. We're talking about his brilliance as a Shliach Tzibur, and rabbi that could really, let's just say, achieve huge amounts of things, built schools over there, would have a knack to travel very, very well. Also, we have to point out over here. So now, also, we could say that the Yosef Abad Synagogue, I think it was in 1961, he moved to Yosef Abad neighborhood, where he, along with the late Yusian and various others, would found the famous Yosef Abad Synagogue, let's say, known for its great work in of itself. And let's say, had beautiful tile work, also known as one of the most beautiful in the world. Obviously, being an influential member of Otzar Torah, he would establish the Ganjeh Danish school in that specific neighborhood and would enhance, let's say, educational opportunities for the Jewish community in northern Tehran. He was known with his anivut, his humbleness, let's just say, in himself. He had, despite huge amounts of knowledge and respect within the community, he never, let's say, boasted or prided. He would be known for humor, responsibility, and various different actuality and punctuality in of itself, and would lead people towards a path of emet, justice and kindness, truth, kindness, chesed in of itself, and din. He was very much committed, let's just say, in himself, to the Jewish community, focusing on youth and young adults, and would do huge amounts of efforts to support and guide the community itself. Now, friends, anyone tuning in live, welcome to our community over here as we are exploring a few highlights within regards to famous rabbi. Happens to have been from Tehran in his time, and from various parts of Iran. He happens to be Rabbi Yaghub Nagari over here. So anyone, if this is the first time you have heard of him or you're speaking about him or so on and so forth, welcome to our community. And don't forget also, friends, please subscribe to the channel, as we've got so much phenomenal content over here available to really, let's just say, inspire everyone and so on and so forth. And there is information within regards to him online over here. That's something that very much we have to also encourage everyone to actually look at it. As we mentioned before, there is a phenomenal website that gives biographies of famous Iranian rabbis of yesteryear, which I very much recommend everyone to look into. Over here, I think the website, if I'm not mistaken, as we have to just state over here, it's actually named over here the seven Dorim, if I'm not mistaken. This happens to be a very excellent website, just to say, giving great details with regards to biographies. It's a Persian website in of itself that's, let's say, exploring Persian history. It's one of the glorious things that's very much attached to that. We have to point out over there, friends. Okay, let's explore a bit more within regards to him. He was, I think he was very, let's say, devoted to the community in itself. Youth was a priority. He was very trusted in business and in work, especially in the market. For 40 years, he worked as a trader and a commissioner of goods in the Tehran bazaar. He conducted his business with honesty, trustworthiness, and great wisdom, chachma. This would earn him a great reputation as a trusted figure among merchants, and would lead efforts to collect financial aid and assist the needy. And in his memoirs, I think he would note that he wrote hundreds of prayers and amulets for the health of humanity, let's say, infertile mothers, young men and women seeking marriage, and those in search of sustenance and happiness. He would dedicate his proceeds to the efforts to establish a larger, more comfortable synagogue for Iranian Jews, and there was no personal gain, let's just say, in of itself, and had care of the achdut, the unity of the community in of itself. Now, he would migrate to the Holy Land, to Eretz Yisrael. I think it was in 1976, obviously driven through his love and passion for Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Yaghub would migrate with his family and settle in Jerusalem. After he would make a home, he would found a religious cultural center for the Iranian Jewish community. He would study Jewish law and Kabbalah at Yeshiva, dedicating huge amounts of time, his final days, within regards to trying to master Kabbalah. The knowledge he gained from his studies enabled him as a Mukubal to provide great assistance to those in need. He tirelessly pursued his philanthropic goals, never hesitating to help others as he sought to fulfill aspirations of serving the community. I think despite his old age, he managed to author 7 Torah colossal books. And the first one was the Techelet Yaghub, which was the praises of Yaghub, the Kihila Yaghub, congregation of Yaghub, the Abde Yaghub, a servant of Yaghub, Pande Pedaran, the advice of the fathers, Yeshua Yaghub, the salvations of Yaghub, the Setera Yaghub, the star of Yaghub, and She'ereh HaGilgulim, the poem of the reincarnations. He also wrote 7 valuable treatises on the Torah and subjects related to faith in of itself, to Jewish various different customs, minhagim, and future responsibilities of Jewish people at the time period of the Messiah. And I think I think in various languages it was actually translated, especially into Farsi, if I'm not mistaken, to Iranian language. I believe he passed away actually on the Shabbat of the 25th of Shvat. This happens to be, we're at the time period of his Hilula. We're going to be tomorrow here from time recording. This was in February 1998. He suffered a small period, a period of illness, I'm not sure how long, and he was 88 years of age, so he was very, very phenomenal. And obviously born in Hamadan, as we mentioned about before, eventually migrated to Jerusalem and passed away in the year 1998. He was 88 years of age, so that's something very much that we have to point out with regards to him. And then we can see, just say the inspiration he is for generations to come with all the greatness that he actually achieved in his life. He was, so much can be said about him, and there's various different articles on the internet, especially about the great rabbi. And I would very, very much recommend everyone to learn about him and learn about more of the great Persian rabbis that there were yesteryear over there, because, very, very amazing. It seems like he was, from a broad point of view, he was absolutely phenomenal, just achieving huge amounts over there. So that's very much I recommend everyone to do. And friends, over here we're a community. We are learning about great rabbis of yesteryear. We happen to be speaking about Rabbi Yaghub Nagari over here today in this special series. And there's various different great biography videos they actually have on this website of Seven Dorim, including many living rabbis at the moment, and including Rabbi Eliyahu ben Chaim, for example. There's Rabbi Musa Taijan, Rabbi Yosef De Lamani, Rabbi Sion Hakakian, for example, Rabbi Dr. Mokhtar Eshga Balanes, Mullah Shimon Yadgeran, Zol Naim, Yaghub Nagari, obviously we were speaking about today, and many, many other, obviously most famously the Mo'la or Shraga and Rabbi Musa Zagari. Which very interestingly enough, Rav Musa Zagari is, I think, a family relative of mine. I have to very much point out, if I'm not mistaken, he was actually born in the year 1923, and we are going to hopefully record a video within regards to him. He, I think, passed away in 2007, if I'm not mistaken. And we are somehow connected and related to him, we have to point out. Over there, he was actually from Kerman, and we can actually learn more within regards to that. So friends, everyone, we are a community here. We're exploring about great rabbis of yesteryear here inside this series, inside our community, and famous, not just that, let's say just world Persian figures in of itself. And it's always a privilege to speak about a great rabbi that actually came from Iran. It's something very, very dear to me, and very, very important. And I just think it's important that we learn about the next generation and spread it over here in Avatar. I'm just updating we're just going to upload a picture also on the thumbnail over here with regards to the great rabbi. Yeah. So he would really, really achieve a lot. Rabbi Yaghub Nagari, Zechat Tzedek Livracha. Then we get to light candles in his memory. Now, friends, we don't just record videos here of biography videos of great rabbis of yesteryear. On our community, also, we do tours all over Israel. We love to tour around Israel, different archaeological places, let's just say, in of itself. And we do so much more. I'm just going to take a short minute break, and then we are going to just conclude the video over here. So just watch this space for half a minute, friends. Yeah, friends, thanks everyone for being patient over here as we're exploring the history in regards to Rabbi Yaghub Nagari over here. And yeah, I think this actual website itself, just to conclude, 7 Dorim, it's actually called. They've got many biographies of great Persian rabbis and Persian leaders in themselves, about at least 25. They've got galleries. They talk about the different cities in Iran. For example, this website does the synagogues, the mikvaot, and they go for city over here, and they talk about representatives of parliament, let's just say intellectuals, masters of literature. It really goes on in great detail. They've done a phenomenal job. Many of the, let's just say, the articles in of itself are actually written, I have to point out, in Farsi also. So you've got, they bring about actually other rabbis that will really make their mark in Iran in of itself, respectively, in those time periods. So that's something that I very much have to point out. All a great day, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.